back everyone to Blender and Unreal Engine becoming a Dungeon Prop Master, and this is where we left it off. Now what we want to do is we actually want to create the treasure, so we want a mound of treasure and some treasure in this treasure chest. In the actual old one that I made, I actually created two piles of treasure, as you'll see, but on this one I think we're just going to create one because they're basically pretty much the same. Alright, so let's go back to modeling, and then what we're going to do is we're going to press tab. I'm going to bring in now a UV sphere to start and the plane. So let's bring the UV sphere first. So Shift A, Mesh. Let's bring in a UV sphere like so. Now at the moment we've got 32 and 16 segments. That actually should be fine because we want to have a fair amount of subdivisions to actually create this look of actual treasure. So I'm just going to move it over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on object mode. I'm going to come down to the bottom and just get rid of it. So Alt, Shift and click, delete, faces, and then grab the bottom of it, L, delete, vertices, like so. Alright, so now what I want to do is I just want to pull this out a little bit and get it to be some sort of decent shape. So all I'm going to do is just going to put proportional edit on, just make sure that your smoothing's on, and then we're just going to come in, grab one of the faces, press G, bring out your mouse so that you can move a lot of it at the same time, and then just start moving it around, just making it kind of like a actual pile of treasure or something like that. So it doesn't need to be in any, set way or anything. It just needs to be a way that you actually like it. So I'm just going to make mine like this. I'm going to flatten it down so that it comes to a flattened bit at the back. So something I think like this. All right, so the next thing then is what we want to do is you want to actually remesh this. So let's go over to our modifiers tab now. So this little spanner here, let's add in a modifier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the remesh, which is this one here. So click on the remesh and it will disappear. Don't worry if it disappears, we can actually fix that, but that's what you need to press at the moment. Then what you want to do is you want to come over to the right hand side and you'll have an option that says smooth. Just click that on and you will see now it starts to remesh it. Now it is blocky, and the reason is because obviously it's not got enough subdivisions on this to actually do it properly. Just all you need to do is turn up this op tree depth, so turn it off a couple of times and then you'll end up with something like this. Now if you apply this, you will see that when I go into it with tab, you'll see that it's all been remeshed really nicely, and now you should be able to move this out much better than what you could before. So I'm going to come in now, I'm going to press G and I'm going to move it around like so, and you can see already it's looking much nicer than it did. So let's now just play around with it and just get it into some sort of nice form of treasure. So something like this maybe. Maybe let's bring up the back a little bit as well. So I'm just going to pull it in like so. And then I'm just going to work my way around now, just so I've not got these kind of big lumps here or anything like that. I just want to bring them back a little bit and just make it a little bit uneven. Like so. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to cut away this bottom because I don't need the actual bottom. And then what I want to do is I want to pull out this bottom so that it's kind of not flat and straight down, so that it's kind of coming out just a little bit. So the easiest way I'm going to do that is if I press 1 on the number pad, you can see that I've got it here. If I press A then to grab everything, come up to mesh, come down to bisect, I'm going to pull it across then like so. And then just make sure that it's flat. And the way we're going to make sure it's flat is you can see where this X is on 0.003. Generally speaking, it's always the one that's going to be just slightly up. So like this one here, just put it to 0 and you'll see then it actually flattens it off. Now you've actually, at the moment, as you can see, I've not actually cut the whole thing off. So I need to make sure I'm doing that. And the other thing is I'm going to use then this, so this line here, to actually bring it out. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So first of all, though, I'm just going to go back because as you can see, it was way higher up on this back, and I want to keep most of it. So let's press 1, let's come round then, and then let's start pulling it down. So again, I'm just going to grab faces and just start pulling it down where I need to. So I think on the back here, this is the part that I need to pull down, like so, like so, like so. All right, so that's a little bit better, but we're still having a few problems, as you can see. So I think what I'll do is I'll cut this away from here and we'll use what we've got. I'm just going to pull this one down as well. All right, something like that. Now let's press tab. Let's press Shift H just to hide everything else out of the way so that we've just worked on this. Let's press tab, let's press 1, let's press A. Let's also go into wireframe mode, and now we can see exactly where that line is. So the topmost line, as you can see, because it's a bit dark yellow, is around here. So let's come into mesh. let's come down to bisect, and then let's cut this away. And remember, you can use the space bar to move this up and down. So I'm going to put it round about there, I think. And then I'm going to come down to where that one is slightly up, put it on 0, like so. And now that should be absolutely fine. As you can see, I've got a little bit over here in the middle, but I'm not really going to worry about that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back onto solid, and I'm going to pull this out now with my proportional editing on. So if I press S now, I should, if I bring this in, be able to pull this out a little bit. So I'm just trying to pull this out a little bit just to give it a little bit more, kind of roundness on these parts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go round and just pull these out now, like so. Just trying to get rid of that I've actually done. So let's pull them out, and don't worry too much because we're going to also use a displacement modifier on these, so you won't actually see any of these. Plus as well, you can also probably come in and smooth it off, and that's what we'll do next. So I'm just going to pull them out a little bit, like so, like so. All right, now let's go in and actually smooth them off before we do anything else. So I'm going to press tab again. I'm going to press A to grab everything. I'm going to come to vertex, and you'll see here that we've got one that says smooth vertices, and I'm just going to click that up a few times just to smooth them off, like so. And now you can see we're actually getting somewhere. Now let's just remesh this quickly. So if we come to add modifier, remesh, put it onto smooth, and then just turn it up a few times, maybe 8, something like that. I think that's actually probably going to be, maybe that's going to be a bit high. I'm just going to actually apply that. So Control A, press tab, and I'm just looking now, 232,000 polygons. So it is a little bit high, but we can get away with that. So you can keep messing around with these modifiers, going backwards and forwards, as you can see, to really get the look that you're actually going for. Now again, I need to get rid of the bottom, but you can see that the bottom now, if I grab it, is completely flat now, which is great. So again, mesh, let's come in with my bisect, and let's cut that away again, like so, using the space bar just to drag it up, pressing letting go of it, and now you should end up with something like that. That looks much, much better. All right, so the next thing then we want to do is we want to bring in now a displacement modifier. So at the moment we've got, if I press tab and grab it all, let's have a look, 152,000 polygons just in this alone, which is really high, but we're going to bring that down, so don't worry too much about it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to save out our work, because at this stage, when you're doing anything with modifiers, when you're working with such a high amount of polygons, there's always a chance that Blender will crash. So just save it out. Now let's come to add modifier, and we're going to bring in a displacement, and we're going to put the mid-level down to 0, and then the strength down to 0.1, something like that. Now what you want to do is, you can see we've got some drooping down here. Let's see if we can bring that down a little bit. So let's try 0, and there we go. Let's put it up to then 0.01, something like that. All right, so it's very, very light on that. Now we can work on that as we move along. Now a displacement modifier, what it does is it actually uses some noise to actually give us a certain look within the mesh. Now it is based obviously on how many polygons you have, because the more polygons you have, which means the more topology you've got, the more actually it will mold to whatever you're doing. So it could be a marble look, clouds look, things like that. The first thing you want to do though, now you've done that, is come over and click new. And then what you want to do is you want to name this. So I'm going to call it gold. In fact, we'll call it treasure and coins, like so. And then what I'll do is, now I've named my texture, and come over to this actual checker flag here, click the down arrow, and you'll see already it's called treasure coins, and that's basically which one we want it on. Now what you want to do is you just want to save this out. If you save this out with this little shield, what it means is when we come on to file now and save it out with, as you can see, automatically pack resources, if we come up and save that out, what that'll do now is make sure that this is not deleted. So let's say I want to go in and create another treasure pile. Well, I've already got this actual displacement map then set up for me. So what we'll do on the next one is we'll come in and we'll set up our displacement based on a texture, and then we should be able to get this treasure finished. All right, everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.